Don't ever lie to an overthinker, it never ends well. They've trained their brains to find holes in stories. So if shit don't make sense, they're gonna think about it and over until it makes sense. Listen closely, because people often misunderstand what an overthinker actually is. They think it's someone who simply worries too much, someone who asks too many questions, someone who makes things complicated, but that's not the real story. Most overthinkers didn't just wake up one day with a busy mind. Their minds became that way because life forced them to start paying attention to details other people ignore. They learned to notice tone changes. They learned to catch small inconsistencies. They learned to read between the lines of conversations, not because they wanted to, but because experience taught them that sometimes the truth hides in the smallest details. Here's what hits different. An overthinker's brain doesn't just hear words. It analyzes patterns, the timing of messages, the pauses in your voice, the way your explanation changes slightly each time the story is told. They notice when something feels slightly off, even if they can't immediately explain why. And once their mind catches that small inconsistency, the thinking doesn't stop. It starts connecting dots. They replay the conversation. They remember something you said 3 days ago that suddenly doesn't match what you said today. They start asking themselves quiet questions. Why did that detail change? Why did that explanation feel rushed? Why does this story not line up the way it should? And the more they think about it, the clearer the picture slowly becomes. Because overthinking is rarely random. It's usually pattern recognition working overtime. Another truth people rarely talk about is this. Overthinkers are not trying to create problems. They're trying to understand the truth. Their mind refuses to ignore things that don't make sense. So when someone lies to them, the lie doesn't just sit there peacefully. It starts creating tension in their mind. Their intuition starts whispering that something isn't right. And once that feeling appears, their brain begins searching for answers until everything finally connects. That's why lying to someone who overthinks is one of the fastest ways to destroy trust. Not just because the lie will eventually be discovered, but because the process of discovering it slowly changes the way they see you. Each inconsistency becomes another crack in the image they once had of you. Each missing detail becomes another reason to question your honesty. And once an overthinker begins questioning your integrity, rebuilding that trust becomes incredibly difficult. Because their mind remembers patterns, not just words. And once a pattern of dishonesty appears, they will notice every future inconsistency even faster. But here's the deeper truth. Overthinkers are not impossible to love. In fact, they often love deeper than most people realize. They care about details. They pay attention to the emotional atmosphere in relationships. They notice when someone they love is hurting even before it's spoken out loud. But the one thing they struggle to tolerate is confusion created by dishonesty. Because their minds are built to search for truth. And when honesty is present, their thoughts eventually settle. But when lies enter the picture, their mind never fully rests. It keeps searching until the story finally makes sense.